Welcome to this week's episode of Talk Culture, where we are going to be talking about the games that shaped us. I thought it was something cool I seen on Facebook, and I said, hey, DK, let's talk about it. It's something that you viewers can learn a little bit more about us.
That's right. Today we're going to take some time to really deep dive into those games that really, showed us our interest before we knew what it was going to be. Things that, went back when we were just a young DK and a young Shane. We didn't know what we liked yet. And that's going to be our topics today. We each made a list, 5 video games each, that just kind of shaped our interest and shaped us to who we are today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. You go first.
You always hit me at the first.
Sorry.
So let's take it back to, I'd say, the oldest game on my list.
All right.
Donkey Kong Country.
Word?
Absolutely. So Donkey Kong Country, it beats out Super Mario Brothers for me, even though that was probably like the first game I remember. I just remember as a kid watching my mom play this game and just like completely mesmerized by how different it was from everything else out there. You had all the different monkeys, you're going, jumping through barrels, and it's just something that I connected with my mother with. It's like, I don't know, it's one of those weird things.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just there's a deep love for Donkey Kong Country, and I'm not really sure how it shaped me other than just that love that I share Donkey Kong Country with my mother. So I have no other things to say about that.
Hey, I hear you, because ironically, one of the older video games I'm sharing first was also a game that I shared with my mother.
All right.
It's Pokemon Coliseum on the N64.
I like it.
So Pokemon Coliseum was the first real 3D Pokemon game that I could think of. I don't think there was one before that. It was on the Nintendo 64. And it basically was a 3D version of the Game Boy game. You could fight with Pokemon in 3D. But there's also these mini games. Me and my mom used to play. There was one where you played as a bunch of Lickitungs in the middle of a sushi bar. And the sushi bar rotated like this, and you had to try to lick up as many sushi plates as possible. And me and my mom played that like crazy. So that's gonna be the first one I'm throwing out there. Probably I'd have to say, maybe not the oldest, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close.
I want to know. They might even want to know too. Who was better? Who was the better Lickitung? Did you win? Your mom will whoop you.
You know what? It was so long ago, I honestly don't remember. It's funny though, because there was some plates that were like poisoned food.
Okay.
Or no, it was really spicy.
Ooh.
And if you licked it, your tongue caught on fire.
Yeah, started smoking or something.
Yeah, she's probably better than me back then. I mean, I was probably 7 years old, so.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, something that's kind of fresh, recent. We talked about it on a more recent video. So I'm going to go with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That one's probably in your list. No?
It is.
It is? Yeah, we can
we'll
talk
take
about
that time just to talk about it now. That'll knock one off my list.
Yeah, so Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, what, did that come out? 99. So, what, would have been...
7.
Yeah. Yeah, about
6
6
and 7.
I would have been 6. You'd probably been 7.
Yep.
I got this on a PlayStation 1 demo disc. You remember
Yep.
the magazines? You get the demos. It was right around Christmas time. We had family in. I just remember playing this, and I think you had the 2-minute time limit on the demo.
Yeah.
And I was like, this game is just so cool, so different. Everybody is starting to get into those sports that we talked about before. And just from there, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, it just blossomed. Not just for me, but obviously DK is going to tell you about it. I mean, what we said in the other videos, we're just huge fans of it. And we bonded over it a lot.
Yeah.
That was our middle school years.
Yeah, I mean, that game developed our love for skateboarding, even though neither of us are very good.
All pro.
Our music taste, some of our music taste was in that game.
Oh, yeah.
The way we dressed, that game really was a root for the way that we would spend our late elementary and early middle school years.
I mean, how many times have we watched the movie Grind because we are so enamored by Tony Hawk and skateboarding in general?
Yeah.
That whole culture.
I love Grind. Such a great movie. If you've never seen Grind, please go watch it. It's a fantastic movie.
The soundtrack's really good too.
It is one of the best soundtracks of any movie ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Now, do you want me to go? Since we met at the same point again. You want me to go?
I'll go.
All right, switch it
I'll
up.
take these people on an adventure.
All right.
So, the next one up in my list, roughly about the same time as Tony Hawk Pro Skater, as Pokemon Coliseum, Spyro.
That's
So,
all you. You love Spyro.
I don't remember the exact year. If I had to take a guess, I'd probably say like 97, 98, probably around that time. It was on PlayStation 1. It might have been even earlier than that, honestly. And that was one of the first, like, fantasy games that I really got into. I loved running around as this purple dragon, all the different levels, the different enemies. One of the first platforming games I ever played, and you can tell because I'm still terrible at them.
Very bad.
But yeah, I have a special place in my heart for Spyro. I mean, for years, I only bought PlayStation consoles because if there was ever a Spyro coming out,
You're getting.
I had to have it. And I had the first 3. And then once I think they started coming out on PS2, I think I was out of it. But I'll tell you why after you say our next one.
I don't even want to get to my next one.
Why?
Because I just want to throw this out there. I don't know if you remember, but it was the first time me and you ever hung out. I actually came to your house. At your mom's. All right? And you were all about Spyro. You wanted to show me Spyro. You wanted to have me play it. And it was something I never played before. Mm-hmm. The issue why I never played it at your house that day is because your memory card was corrupt. That had your save file.
I couldn't even tell you how many memory cards I went through. I mean, you just think about, like, back in the day, if you had an 8 megabit PlayStation memory card, like, you were alright for a while. If you had anything 8 megabyte at all right now, that's nothing.
You can't even take a picture of us.
Yeah.
And have it be saved.
It's nothing now. Just crazy.
It was a little off topic to some degree, but I didn't know if you remembered. I don't know. It's a feel good moment. I just remember that. Bros, come on, bro. Anyways, let's go on to the next one. Let's go with EA Sports NHL, particularly NHL 08. So this was a time where the Penguins were getting, Malkin. They had Fleury, Stahl, Sid. Like, everybody was kind of coming together on the team. That's where I kind of like got back into hockey. And like, still to this day, I play NHL. I hate EA Sports. Sorry. I just hate them. There's so many people that hate them.
They're trash.
They literally just repackage a game, and I'm not into it. But I still play it. I still buy it. Hopefully it's like $20 or less, and I'm good. That's basically it. But I just love hockey. That's one of the main things, and that game shaped me to be the fan that I am. So as much as that game shaped like who I am, like it could be like the number one for me right now.
Yeah.
Because I want hockey back right now.
And I think everybody's feeling that way. I mean, I used to play the NHL games, but I think I fell victim to the fact that I just thought they were repackaged. And I think after like NHL 16, I think I just put it down and was like, I'm done. Like, I even downloaded 19. I just was like, been playing the same game for 10 years.
But that's fine, though, in some ways.
It is. It is.
If you love hockey, like extreme passion, you'll still play. And I'm not doubting your passion by any stretch, but there's just something to me that I love about it, even though I hate that game so damn much.
It's understandable.
I just hate it, but I love it.
So my next one was it was a close one between 3 games. Real close. I had to pick one.
All right.
But I'm going to say all 3, but I'm going to tell you the one I picked.
Say them all at the same time.
That was all of them. So, right in the early 2000s, the early PS2 era, 3 games came out that really... What? Oh, sorry.
I think you left one out.
All right.
There it is.
3 games came out roughly around the same time that were, in my eyes, revolutionary to console gaming. Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper. These 3 games came out, and if I could put all 3 in this list, I would. But I have to go with Sly Cooper.
Man.
I loved everything about Sly Cooper. Me and another childhood friend grew up playing Sly Cooper a lot, and I credit a lot of learning mechanics in video games to this game because it was the first game where you really, or at least I played, that you really had to learn different ways to beat people. I mean, you had to have stealth, you had to learn how enemies worked, and that was different. You know, going back to Spyro that came out a couple years before, there wasn't a lot of difference in the way that you fought. You know, you rammed them, you hit them with fire, stuff like that. Sly Cooper, you had to jump, you had to use your hook to like kind of swing around, and it was just different. It was fun. They ended up making a couple more after that, and then there was a rumored movie to come out a couple years ago, but I think it just got stuck in development. You know, purgatory. But yeah. If I could put all three of those games in my list, I would, but I'm going to have to settle for putting Sly Cooper in there.
At one point, like, they're probably going to see this in the video if you go back and look. I'm just not in my head. I completely lost what you're saying. I zoned out so bad. I'm just like, thinking of those games. I love Ratchet & Clank, love Sly Cooper. Jak and Daxter was pretty awesome. I'd say those two rank higher.
Yeah. And it all depends because they all had their own things. So, like, Jak and Daxter had a really strong story over the course of 3 games. Ratchet and Clank, you had the diversity in all your weapons. I mean, Ratchet and Clank, the guns in there, like, it was awesome. Like, you had some that, like, shot sheep out at people. Like, the tractor beam. There was so many different things. And then you had Sly Cooper that was almost a little bit of everything. You had the awesome story. You had... I can't remember their names.
I'm not going to remember their names.
Sidekicks. One was Bentley. I can't remember the other one's name at the moment.
It's been so long.
But it was like this ragtag team of... They were thieves. But they were like the anti-hero, like a Robin Hood.
Yeah.
So if you never played these games, check them out. Like they're classic now.
They put something out for Ratchet and Clank, about 5 years ago now? Mm-hmm. So I haven't played it, but
Ratchet and Clank is very still relevant. A couple years ago, they put out a movie.
Oh my god, they did.
They've been putting out games for Ratchet and Clank. Of all of them, that game lasted the longest. Sly Cooper, they only did 3 games, I believe. And then Jak and Daxter, they did 3 main stories. Then they did Jak X, which was a racing game. Yeah. And then they did a PSP game, and I think there was one more. I never played those late ones. I think I quit at Jak X. But, yeah. Great games. And there are rumors of a Jak and Daxter remaster coming. So,
I'd be into it.
Let's cross our fingers. I would like to see Sly Cooper, too, get remastered.
I agree on that. So, let's go with... I don't know which one to go. I'm trying to think. Let's go with Gears of War.
All right.
It's hard to pick which one because there's so many of them now, especially getting into Gears 5, and then they had Judgment. But the Gears of War franchise, that was like my second game I got on the 360. That was really the main reason other than Halo. And it's kind of hard to believe that Halo's not... It's not on my list. Yeah, I was thinking it might make it, but it was very slim.
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe that did not make the list. But... where Halo left off with Halo 3, Halo 3, Gears of War really picked up. And that's just something like, I love Gears of War just because you have the main Delta squad. Everybody knows I love the Coltrane, baby.
Woo!
Thank you. And just like all the villains, it's such a deep storyline, at least for the first 3. And then if you fell off, like, with the 4th and 5th, that's okay. Like, people don't think the 4th one and the 5th, that whole storyline that they're building, is that strong. I beg to differ. Maybe it's not as good as the original, like, trilogy, just because it's so nostalgic to you now and just ingrained in your soul. But anybody that is a doubter, go play 4, go play 5. You're going to love them. You will love Gears of War, and you're just going to find yourself completely immersed.
Not to mention, Gears of War was one of the first next-gen consoles that really shaped the way that graphics and everything have evolved. They really set the bar high for the standard to reach.
Oh yeah,
that
absolutely.
Was one of the first big like graphic marvels of the next gen consoles.
Yeah, I mean, it really shaped everything.
Yeah.
And like, I cannot say it better than you. That is awesome. Good
Now,
point.
before I go to my number one, if you want to join me here, I'm just going to throw out some honorable mentions because I had a lot in my list that I did want to mention. Obviously, I said Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank, but I wanted to throw out as an honorable mention the first Spider-Man game on PlayStation 1.
Yep, that was a good one.
Grand Theft Auto 3. And RuneScape.
Ooh, I forgot about RuneScape.
Yeah, I had to throw those in there because
Oh, man.
they didn't make the list, but they definitely shaped me in some ways, but they didn't beat out the top 5.
Did you ever tell your dad what you always came over to my house and played when you were a kid?
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah, did you ever tell him?
No, but I mean,
He might find out now. It's like, hey man, I'm not.
I wasn't allowed to play
I'm not
Grand Theft Auto.
I'm not allowed to play Grand Theft Auto. You got that Vice City. I'm like, oh yeah, I got the stuff for your brother.
My first one. I mean, it's not really ranked in any particular order.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Why are you looking at me? Like you want me to say it for you?
it's Resident Evil franchise.
Oh,
So,
I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have, honestly. Mainly Resident Evil 4. My favorite video game genre now is horror, thriller video games, psychological horror. I just love the suspense. And I credit a lot of that to Resident Evil 4. I played Resident Evil 2. I played, the original Resident Evil and like some of the other ones like Code Veronica, stuff like that. But 4 was the first one that really grabbed me, and I played all the way through, and I replayed it. And like that one was the game that made me realize that I loved horror games. I loved that suspense and not knowing what was happening, where the next enemy was coming from. Like that made me realize it.
Yeah, I would have to say Resident Evil 4. I mean, that's definitely a close one for me. That'd be like an honorable mention.
Yeah.
I also want to say that this is another honorable mention. I know it's kind of off topic. What about Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur's up there. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's an honorable mention for me. I love Soul Calibur. If I had to pick a fighting game that wasn't Mortal Kombat to throw in there, it'd have to be Tekken.
Huh, okay.
But
All right. So,
Soul Calibur. Sorry, I had to do that.
I'm very conflicted because you said Pokemon Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have my last one, and that's why I threw Gears of War before it. I'm not sure which... Oh, God. This is tough.
I realize I've made a mistake in the way that you're going right now, and I think that I know what you're about to say. Are you trying to decide which Pokemon game? Is that what you're trying to decide right now?
I'm trying to decide if I want to throw Pokemon or the other one that I have.
Oh, wow.
Which one shaped me more as a child?
Man, Pokemon should have been in there.
All right, I'm throwing this as an honorable mention because if I don't say it, I'm going to hate myself. And, like, I don't know if people just don't realize when you're watching the videos, like, we like wrestling, right? Like, you wear the shirts,
Oh, you're
probably more than
talking
me.
The original SmackDown on PlayStation 1, that one?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
talking about
you know
that,
what?
like, WWF Attitude. Remember that on PS1? There's so many good WWE, WWF games.
There was.
And it's so hard to pick because think about all the times that we used to play, like, what was it, SmackDown vs. Raw, like, what, 2000, whatever. No, it was like
2004 or something.
Yeah. Think about that all the time. Like,
Yep.
that shaped us.
I had a WCW,
Oh, my goodness.
was it No Way Out?
No, that was WWF.
Was it?
Yeah.
I had a WCW
Anyways,
one, 'cause I
we'll
can
get back
picture
on
it.
track.
No Mercy.
But
regardless.
the WWE, WWF games of our childhood is something that I love. I still like the new ones a little bit. I want to put it, but you know what? My number one spot, or at least the last one I'll throw out, is Pokemon. And I'm talking about the Game Boy games.
Yep, I realize now that
'Cause
should have been in there.
Coliseum was great. It was something different.
Yep.
Something new. They took Pokemon from completely 2D to something 3D.
Yep, I should.
And while that holds a special place Listen, it's okay. It holds a special place in your heart like Donkey Kong while he cries. But Pokemon like Yellow, Red, Blue.
Yeah.
I mean, going through, like, we still play Pokemon today.
Yep.
How can we
20
say
years later,
the original
you're right.
Game Boy games did not shape us?
You're right.
That has to be number one. We're not really playing Super Mario Brothers, the original one. Like, you might just for
You are 1,000%
SMGs,
correct.
Snakes and Gargoyles one
Snakes
day.
and gargoyles.
But Pokemon is still lasting. They are growing. They are developing new different things.
Yeah. We've literally grown up with it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm mad at myself. But I will say, if I had to pick a Pokemon that really, like, Yellow will always be the original. But I think Silver was the one that really grabbed me. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Pokemon came out and Yellow came out, like, that was my life. I had the binder with the plastic inserts with all the cards.
Yep.
Like, I had the teal Game Boy color.
Oh, I had the clear purple.
Yeah, I remember that.
Clear purple. Then I think I had a yellow one. Yeah, I did have a yellow one.
I had a lime green one too.
Yeah, everybody had a couple different colors, but Pokemon, like I said, stands the test of time. I think where I gravitated to was gold mainly. I had yellow, then I had I think blue, but gold's where it like really took off for me as well. And
Silver
it's the
and gold, second gen,
same time. But yeah, I just don't want to.
I remember growing
up.
Us growing up and being like, "Yo, we gotta get this new Pokemon game now!" Like.
And we did it with Sword and Shield.
Yep.
You texted me and said, "Hey, you getting Sword or Shield?" And I was like, "I don't know if it drops in price." Like, come on, bro, let's play it. I literally went to Walmart before work and just bought it.
And
I
we've been
didn't
doing it ever
give
since.
two craps about it. Just bought it.
Yep.
And the game's amazing. So I think we should just end the video here. I don't want to keep going on and on about Pokemon. This will be a 50-minute video.
Oh yeah,
if
we
not
could go
more.
on all day.
Yeah, but as always, like, share, subscribe. Make sure to ring the bell so you're notified of other videos that we are putting out for you. Let us know in the comments section as well what games that shaped you. Hopefully you have some of the same ones as us. Maybe we can kind of bond over that stuff. If not, let us know because, hey, we might go back. You can go play all these older games.
Maybe there's one that we didn't think about that also shaped us. Like how he said Pokemon, I for some reason didn't think of the handhelds. Like, share with us. Let us know.
You changed my list by saying Coliseum.
I threw everything up.
And that's what it's all about.
Hey, and thanks for supporting Talk Culture.